All right there. Who was that first spiritual experience they'd like to share with us?
Rahul Bad.
Rahul Bad, how you going today, family? How things in Baton Rouge, Louisiana? Okay, like I say, lazy lay, bon ton roulé, let the good times roll, my brother.
That's right. I was coming out of Walmart yesterday, and so they had three guys out there with their Bibles in their hand. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, I came out of Walmart.
Wait, who got the baby in the background?
That's me and Asha. Hold on. All right, I went out.
All right.
So, yeah, I went outside. I came out of Walmart yesterday, and they had three guys outside with a Bible in their hand.
With a what in their hand?
A Bible. And I was trying to tell them, they're trying to stop me from talking. I tried to tell them I don't really believe in religion. They said, we don't believe in religion either. I said, well, but anyway, I talked to them for a little while, and asked them a couple of questions. They were shocked. They had answered every question I asked them. So I asked them about Adam and Eve. Was they the first people on the planet? They said, yeah, they were the first people on the planet. So I said, got Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel. That's only 4 people. And he put a mark on his head, and they kicked him out of the garden and went to the land of Nod. So I said, well, who built the land of Nod and where he got a wife from?
Right.
You know what they say?
No.
They said Cain built the land of Nod. They said Cain built the land of Nod.
No, he built the land of Nod was already established.
Right.
By the fallen angels. They had a lot of bright lights and very colorful. People were already there. The problem with the whole story is, and it is the greatest story ever told, is that they claim biblically that Cain and Abel were that Adam and Eve were the first people in the world. So when Cain slew Abel and he was cast out the garden and he was afraid that wherever he went people would kill him because of what he did, who were these other people outside the garden of Gan?
Yeah, he asked me that question too. He said people was born years later.
No, they weren't born years later. No. And on top of that, where did Cain and Abel get their wives from?
Yeah, he said they had met their wives later, years later too.
No. Eve had twins. Women have two mammary glands, and they gave birth to male and female twins every time. The right breast was for the male, the left for the female. And if one of the twins was agreeable, the other was disagreeable to create balance on the earth. That's the way it was. So that when Cain and Abel were born, Cain was the disagreeable one and Abel was the agreeable one. And then they gave birth to 2 daughters, Archemia and Labuda. And one was agreeable and the other was disagreeable. Archemia was the disagreeable daughter, and she was given to Cain to wife. He didn't like that because he wanted Labuda, the one that was designated for his brother, because she was agreeable. And that's the reason why he rose up his hand against his brother Cain to slam him in the field and kill him. And when he did that, his brother's blood cried out. And see, it was the angel Gabriel came down to induct the brothers into the order of Zadok, the high priest, and he reigned over them. And Anu actually came down personally too and incarnated in the earth in physical form. He was a young man at the age of only 19. And Abel went out and gave the Creator for sacrifice the best of his offerings, and Cain gave him the worst, the chaff from his fields, and his offer was not accepted. And he had a big frown on his face, and Gabriel asked him, said, why do you have a frown on your face? Had you gone out and did the right thing, you would be accepted into the order just like your brother Abel. In fact, if you go out and do the right thing even now, you'll still be accepted. But he was rebellious, again, stiff-necked, and he was just a demon, and he wouldn't, he recalcitrant. He just got harder and deeper. He wouldn't submit to the fact that he was a rotten piece of shit. So he was cast out the garden. And he was a vagabond in the earth, wandering aimlessly on this contumacy. That's what happened.
That's why I tried to tell them some of that.
I know it, but they think they know.
Right.
You should have brought them to me because I can prove these things.
Right. But I got them a few things, but they had to answer everything. They had the Bible with them. And I kept telling them the Bible is mistranslated. They agree that the Bible is mistranslated. We got to go to them.
Oh, really? I can walk people through the Bible like you know. And when I get through with the Bible, they'll use it to roll up weed with or to wipe their butt when they use the bathroom.
They give you the Bible's 100% correct and accurate.
Yeah, I can disprove that right this second, but we don't have time this minute. But if you hold that thought until after class, if we have a brief minute, I'll be glad to walk you all through some instances in the Bible where it's complete bullshit, nothing but lies.
Yeah,
Malachi V. York proved to people over a 25-year period that the Bible's the devil's book. And you got to know the Quran is the bastard child of Christianity. Like Islam, I'm just telling you that. So all religion has been profaned. It's not as pristine purity. Christianity, like all religion, Buddhism, all of it, is just a system that they developed to psychologically control the masses, like an opiate or a drug. You follow me?
Right, that's right.
Just like reptilians have led you all to believe that death is reality so that they can control you through fear. What greater threat is it to control people than to tell them, if you don't do this or that, we'll kill you?
Right.
But if they knew they were immortal and there was no death, that fear would be removed. And I'm here to remove the fear from you with the truth. Know the truth, and truth will make you free. John 8:32, Holy Bible, right? King James, the Bible flame. All right, now, anybody else have a spiritual experience they'd like to share before we get on with the topic of the class tonight?
I have one.
Very good.
Well, I don't necessarily get like any dreams too vivid, but I get like these visions throughout the day.
Can you speak up, Christian, please?
I don't usually get these dreams too vivid like how most people do, but I get these visions sometimes throughout the day. I had a vision that I was like a light being, but like in my hands, I can see through my hands. It's like a galaxy, like a picture.
That's not a dream. That's an ultimate reality. You are a spiritual being having a physical experience.
Right.
See, the problem at the root of the difficulty is the difficulty at the root of the problem is people far too frequently identify with the physical form as this is me. For example, Christian, when they stand up in the kitchen, time to decide what to eat, and their carnal flesh craves a pig foot, which is, you know what I am, it is forbidden. Because he says to you in the scripture, forbidden unto you is anything that doesn't fall, an issue of blood, gored by horn, or anything over which any other name other than the Most High has been invoked. Decisive, allegorically, unless otherwise read by necessity, not out of desire or want. So that means that most times not saying don't eat pork if you're in the desert and there's only one pig there and you dine. But he's saying don't go to the supermarket and reach over the fish and beef and chicken and pick up a pig foot when you have a choice. Now when the Ohio self says you get the salad out the refrigerator and you still reach for the pig foot, the Most High inside of you tells you don't do that. And then your will is enacted to try to make it decide between the two, like the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the next. So as you go back and forth, because your inner being is grappling inside with a holy war, you argue with yourself. Your lower and your higher self argue. And if you have a child outside the room and hear you in there talking, they say, well, Daddy, who are you talking to in there? And you say, you caught me. I'm in here talking to myself. That confuses the child because they think there's only one person in there, and that's true, but you are duality. You have an inner being and an outer being, and your higher self is God, which is spiritual, and your spirit does not desire nor want. But your flesh, it's carnal, and it desires things. You follow me? And that's what makes the flesh weak. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is what?
Weak.
It is very weak. So go ahead. You had a question or a statement?
I only have a question, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, you all. So now we're going to take up where we left off. As everybody knows that Panamanian Dr. Malachi Z. York has been saying to the world as of late that we are all living in the hereafter right now. How many of you agree?
That's right.
I agree.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. I love you. Very good. Okay. Now that's a fact. I'll tell you a vision that I had, a Christian, that was very real. It was just a visit to the spiritual realm. It was shocking and confusing to me. But now I'm coming forth with it. I was sitting down at the foot of a coffin, and there was a man laid out in the coffin in a suit that I'm familiar with. And he was looking shiny and youthful. It was like he was alive, but he was in repose. And I know that man was me. I was in that coffin and I was dead. Now, I was seeing myself as a third being from outside looking down, but I was also sitting on a stool at the foot of the coffin with my back turned to me, the one that was the observer. And I was dressed in a long white jalabia, and I had a short, medium, not short, but a medium curly afro. And I knew that I was the angel Gabriel. I was an angelic being sitting at the foot of my own coffin, and that was me, Ahmed, in that coffin. And I have been Ahmed for quite some time, the return of Ahmed. For those of you that know, how many of you all remember that I was Ahmed al-Mahdi?
I remember that.
Yeah, Ahmed, the three Mims. A lot of people don't know what the three Mims are, but that's Ahmed, the birth of Muhammad, and Prophet, and Mahmud in the end. You should write this down with a pen. Mustafa Muhammad Ali sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was born 570 AD. And he ascended, or what you call died, in 632 AD at the age of 62. 570 to 632 AD. I was born in 1951. And I was taken up along with Dr. Malachi Z. York, the one you call Panababianu, 326 in the year 2013. If you do that from 1951 to 2013, again is exactly 62 years of age. That was the end of the reign of Muhammad Ahmed here on earth for the third time. And again, I left. I didn't die. I left. Well, obviously, because I'm still here on the phone talking with you. But, you know, enter Nietzsche authority, Amun Rayay. Nabab, right? Asha. Messiah. Servant to the 144,000. That's who's with you now. If you listen to the DVD, Who is the Nawabian Christ? You hear the 24 elders repeatedly say that Amun is also Amun. You know, King, eternal life for the Ankh, and Amun, the hidden one. And they refer to my attributes. One that they keep repeating is that I always die and I keep coming back to life. I keep coming back to life. This is true. And this is also true upon the Babianu, Malachi. I know this to be true because when we were taken up in 2013, one of the most vivid scenes in my memory is that I woke up and we were in a large cathedral or a place where they entomb people. It was a dirt floor, and I was looking around the floor, and there seemed to be black carbon pipes around, short cut-off pipes, and for some reason, I was motivated to pick them up and start gathering them up and putting them in a bag. And then I looked to my side, and there were two perfectly shaped rectangle graves right there. The one closest to me, I knew to be mine, but the one next to that, I saw a little brown hand come up onto the ground, and that little hand pulled up until I saw the face of Panabab Yanu. And I noticed that our first time doing it, because I looked at him and I said, oh, I knew you was going to be strong. I knew you was going to be strong to come up out of there. And he did come up out of there. And as soon as he came up out of the grave, he started grabbing all those black pipes and throwing them down into my grave. And so, I don't know what he was doing that for, but I kept the ones that I had, and I started walking out of the place, mausoleum, with them. And I remember it was a cobblestone, winding cobblestone sidewalk out there in the daylight, a soft daylight, like in the spiritual realm. But I saw a holy tablet there laying down on the sidewalk, spread open. So I reached down to pick it up, and he told me, he said, you don't need that. And I said, no, I need that. I want that. And I picked it up and kept walking. But I say that to say there is some confusion and conflict in the Nuwaubian nation, because like I said, Panabab Yanu spent 25 years proving to you all that the King James Bible was the devil's book. And now, these people that say they're the leaders of the Nuwaubians are telling you to get rid of the holy tablets, the Injil, and a lot of things that he authored. And then what they're doing is that whenever they put out what they call the Patarak and the actual facts, they back them up, not with the Injil or with the holy tablets. They named only scriptures from out of the King James Bible. Now, how can that be true? Because I'm telling you, what was true yesterday is true today, because if it's not, it wasn't true yesterday. You got me? Because truth is true, and it will stand the test of time. So there's more than confusion here. But my point is, I was there and the coffin and the bowls, and then my spiritual Esther was sitting next. My head was a little down. It was almost like I was waiting for something. But I had another spiritual experience the other night, and these are visitations from my family, which are the Elohim. And we were all gathering. And so we got in cars. I got in a sports car. We were all in a hurry to get to some place. And I was driving. It looked like I wanted to get there so fast, but look, the car wouldn't do but 60-something miles an hour. Wouldn't even do 70. It was like 67 miles an hour. But I finally got there. And I walked into this well-lighted hall, a very large place, and I was drawn to one particular table. And people were sitting around it, men and women, dressed in their best regalia outfits. But I noticed one thing about the tablecloth that drew me. It was very intricately woven. It was crocheted and knitted in the very best of designs like royalty. And that it was made out of lamb skin. It was pure white. And I was so taken by this tablecloth, I know this is real because I touched it. And it was kind of hard to the touch. Do you understand what I mean? It wasn't just a spiritual thing. I touched it and it was hard. But two of the people that were there that I feel like mentioning was Reverend Alexander Smith and Dr. Robert Kimbrough, internal medicine. Both were close friends of mine. But I was there evidently to pass judgment on the people. Because it was me that said that I wanted to come down and save the fallen angels. And all the elders laughed at me because they said you can't reform the devil. My mom used to tell me when I was a little boy, she said, lad, baby, you can't save the world. And I was respectful and didn't disagree, but in my mind I was set to try. Start with my brother Red, which I failed at that, or he failed at letting me.
Which is the devil's in the all, right, Amun?
Say it again.
I said, which the devil, he ain't in love with the all.
And he's a part of all, just like everything else. But what I mean is that he's become dead to the truth. It's grown as rust upon his heart. And he can't see the light. He's out of touch with reality and the divine love. You know, he lives by Rehoboam, the science of destruction, not by creating like the angelic beings. But my point is, I saw two more people later at that same table, and one was an old family friend. His name was Thomas Gillespie. kind of heavy set fat man, but he was jovial, very nice. He was a nice fella. And my mother was sitting to the left at the head of the table. And she was the most precious soul I ever met in memory. Seriously. And I'm saying it because she's my mother. But I put my hand on Tommy Gillespie's shoulder and I said, "You good?" And I put my hand on my mother's shoulder and I said, "You're good." And that meant to me that they were okay to go to heaven. I had adjudicated, I had judged them to be worthy. You follow? The others that I didn't put my hand on their shoulder, they were found wanting. And they were to be remanded to the pit. You follow me? But the point I want to make that should create questions inside of you is that I saw myself dead, and I saw myself resurrected out of the grave. I also had a spiritual experience where I was in another realm. The sky was closer than it normally is, like it always is in those spiritual realms, and you can see there was more than one sun and more than one moon. The sky is closer, and the light is there, just like it's daytime, but it's never bright and pervasive. You can look; it's not like the light is glaring and hurts your eyes. But I was standing outside of a house, and then a young light brown-skinned teenage boy, about, I guess, 16 or 17, came and stood next to me. And we were talking, and he was asking me where I was from, and I told him I was from Earth, etc. And he invited me as, "Mute your phone. London, mute your phone." And he invited me inside of his house. I went inside. We stood in what looked like his living room. And he took his hand and made a fist, and he started pushing it round at the wall, and he forced his hand through the concrete to the masonry wall. And then he pulled his hand out and looked at me, like for a response. And I said, "Well, you know where I come from." Because when it happened, when he took his hand out, the wall suddenly made itself whole again. It got like instantly repaired. And I said, "Well, where I come from, we can do that too, but we got to go to Walmart and buy stuff, and and it don't happen that quick." And I told him, I said, "I bet you can't do this to this stone floor we standing on." And he got down on one knee and he started pushing down into that floor. And he pushed his fist down through that floor. It was with a little more difficulty, but he pulled it out. And while we were standing up talking, I looked down and the floor was healed. Now, there was a woman walked out of what I thought to be the kitchen. It was his mother, because they were identical. They looked the same, except she was a little older, but they looked identical. And she looked at me and she flopped down on his couch. Like she flopped down on the couch. And what I did is I started walking across the living room like a shotgun house. And I walked over to the front door and I turned my back to it. But before I did, I stopped by a picture window on the left and looked outside. And there it was. I saw this beautiful black coffin lid, about 3 inches up out the dirt, all the way around. Perfect black coffin. And I walked away from that because I knew what that was. So I went over to the front door and I turned my back to that door, and on my right-hand side, there was a giant, looked like a mirror, but it was more than a mirror. It was some kind of a holographic device, because I saw myself change into about 1,000 different beings, the last of whom looked like Ronald McDonald, with red, and I said, "That's it right there, that's enough." But I heard two voices over my head in the ether talking, and they were saying, "He's waking up. He's waking up." And I thought to myself, yeah. And so I walked back over there to where the boy's mom and him was, and I started asking her questions. She asked me where I was from. I said, "From Earth." And he said, "My mama from Brooklyn." I said, "Oh, yeah?" And I started turning in a circle, clockwise, with my arms extended like you do to transform and go into the spiritual realm. I'm sitting there with DVDs of interdimensional beings that run across the street, and they twirl clockwise with their arms out to get from one realm dimension to another. And I did that with my eyes closed, and when I opened my eyes, I was surprised to be still there. So I did it again. And then the third time I did it, I was still there. Then I looked at the woman down on the couch and I said, "Do you know Melchizedek?" And she said, "Yes." And I did it again, and this time I woke up at home in my own bed. I said, "What? That worked." You know? But you might ask me, how do I know about, people ask a spiritual master questions like, is there life after death? And of course they answer, but the reason they know is through personal experience. Do you understand? I've experienced the other side.
Spiritual guy.
Say it again.
I said, you are my spiritual guy.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. If you accept me, I am. If you take me seriously and do the work, you too will be entered and accepted into paradise. But I'm here to tell you all that there is no such thing as death. That was a lie perpetrated by the reptilians and other control people through fear, because they always threaten people with the imminent fear of death. Malachi Z. York used to always tell people, you all, many of you are poor, been raised in poor families, but if you knew what death really was, if you really understood death, y'all would all go out and write $1 million insurance policies and jump in front of the next truck you see. If you knew what death was, and I couldn't understand that. But I do now. It ain't no death. But there are consequences to life. So my point is that I want you all to ask yourself the question, because I'm scratching my head without my hand. A lot of people might say to themselves, well, I'm glad to know there's no such thing as death, and I don't have to say that. We can go into the depth and ask you questions. But my question to you is, in advance, is that an agreeable thing, or is that something to be feared? Now that you know you're immortal and you never die, is that a good thing for everybody or not? Let me get that first response.
Well, it ain't gonna be. Yeah. Everybody gonna see it that way. Everybody. Some people who know better will say yes, and most people who don't know better say no.
They'll say no, it's not a good thing, or I'm confused. But
some people will say it's a good thing, and others will say it's not a good thing. Depends on how much they know about it.
That's what I feel. Because there's two sides to every story. What I'm saying is that immortality will be a beautiful thing for the righteous, but for the sinners, it'll be hell.
Right.
Because a lot of people, they create a moral ledger or history on earth that's so horrible, they pray that they can just die and be forgotten. You understand? But they can't. They will be resurrected and brought to judgment for everything they do, even if it's the way of an atom and sufficient of we to take account. Right? Because there's a mizan and a balance set up in heaven to determine whether it's good or evil that preponderates in you. But, you know, the disagreeable beings, the evil beings, they'll laugh and say, and they do, surely, for us to be raised up after death is a joke. It's a return because, as we say in Arabic, a loss. It can't be done. Surely, when we are Nikara, rotten bones, we can't be put back together and brought back to life. And the Most High responds to these ignorant people. He says, surely there came a time over man when he was nothing worth mentioning, nothing that could be remembered. And think about where you all were 100 years ago, somewhere else in another life. But my point is, you were nothing that could be mentioned and remembered here. You were a gleam in your daddy's eye. But the Creator brought you forth through a tiny sperm mixed with ovum. He placed a spirit into that, And 3 months later, your mother and father came together in the conjugal sense. He placed his part of the seed to her egg to fertilize it. And she carried you 12 months altogether, not 9. That's why your birthday is every 12 months and not every 9 months. And then you were born here, a spirited being with clothing of flesh, and by the binding of the spirit to the mud, he created the living soul. And you began your zero time reference here on earth. But the point is about the grave. The Creator asks, what happened to you? You forgot that first original state, man. You forgot when you were nothing that could be remembered? And you've grown up to be the mere open contender, an open opponent? Have you lost your mind? You weak little nothing? And now, why would you logically think that the Creator can bring you forth from nothing 100 years ago that you wasn't, and then he can raise you up for a tiny sperm mixed with ovum, and then bring you through the talai, the spine, through the water gushing forth over the feces, and you grow up to him to be an open contender, or open disputant? Nigga, have you lost your mind? You lost it. So you saying that he can bring you forth and bring you into the world from nothing, but he can't bring you back from something, like bones and stuff like that. Again, I ask you, are you out your goddamn mind? He can create you from nothing, but he can't bring you back from something. Who you playing with, yourself? You'll certainly be resurrected and you will be judged. And you on the class right now with your judge. Don't like it, throw your hat at it, because it's real. There is no way to the Father except through the Son.
So the next question. So the person, when he do be brought back again from the bones, this going to be that'll be a physical thing or a spiritual thing?
It's going to be, there'll be resurrections from out the graves. It's going to be a physical resurrection. Just like I'm here. Yes, just like I was in repose, I was dead in that coffin, and I'm back here, and I've done it many times. So has Malachi. So have many of you. All of you, in fact, have had prior lives and future lives. In fact, when you take it even deeper, there are many examples of you, because you are your brothers and your sisters. Not just keepers, you are your brothers and your sisters. Because we are a multi-cellular unit, and what you call all. That's why you should do unto your brother and your sister as they would do unto you. Because you are your brother and your sister. We're yourselves in the same organism. Let me do this. We're cells in the same organism. There's no difference between you and your brother and your sister. You have been your brother and your sister, and you will be again. So you can't hurt them without causing harm to yourself.
It's like looking in the mirror.
Let me do this. I love you. You're right. It is like looking in the mirror. All right. Now, who has a question about what they've heard so far?
Yeah. I got a question. So, when they bring them back to life from the dead in a physical realm, what happens from there? Though they're going to come. How soon would it be? It'd be right away?
Well, they all ask how soon. You got saints dressed in white under the altar asking the Most High, how long will it be, O Lord, before you exact revenge on us for the blood that was wasted and spilled on earth by these demons? And he tells them, Muqaddam, near, not long, right? And they will be raised up in a bodily form and brought forth for judgment, because they were in the flesh when they committed their crimes and their evil. You follow me? Let me explain something to you. Do you know that there's an order to creation, that he has his stamp on everything, numerically, musically, linguistically? For example, the number 24. 24, this is not happenstance. 24 hours in a day. The earth is 24,000 miles rounded off in circumference. You have 24 elders, 24 cranial nerves. how many ribs does a man or woman have?
24, right?
Exactly. Look it up. 24 ribs. Exactly right. Do you understand? And the earth is 24 billion years old. You know, he created for you the two seas. The one salt and bitter. The other sweet and fresh. Like the Mississippi running into the Atlantic at the Gulf of Mexico. They both meet, but between them there's a hidden barrier that they cannot pass. Yet the ships and the fish and the men pass freely through. And the sailors on the ships will testify that when they pass, they can see the line of demarcation. They can see where the salt and fresh water meet, but they don't mix. You can see the line. But now the question you have to ask, for those that doubt, La Eva, there is no doubt. The Creator is real. Because from both you eat fresh fish. Meaning that when you get fish out the Mississippi, it's just fresh and you have to salt and pepper on it for seasoning. But when you get fish out the ocean, you got to put salt on them the same way. But they born and bred in salt water. In other words, if you take a slice of bread and dip it in the river, it's just wet. But if you dip it in the ocean, it's salty and wet. The fish are born and bred in salt water, brine water. But they just as fresh fish in fresh water. Now who can do that? So you telling me that you know a man that can take a 6-ounce glass and put 3 ounces of salt water in it and then pour 3 ounces of fresh water and keep mixing?
No, that's impossible.
Show it to me. The Creator is real.
Nope. Right. That's how the rivers is. A line apart with the salt water mixed with fresh water. I never knew that.
That's right. And you get fresh fish from both. And I want to say something else about the Quran. That has been tampered with now, but in its pristine purity, that book was from the Most High too. As we say in faith and brief, Amantu, Bilahi, wa Malakati, wa Katubihi, wa Rasulihi, wa Yomi Alakati. I believe in Allah, His books, His angels, His messengers, and the final and last day, and make no distinction between any of them. But like the Bible, it's been corrupted. You follow me? And you got people that's dying in the name of Allah when He created you to live in His name. He's the life giver. He's not, vengeance is His. He told you that. You don't have a reason to kill you, to raise your hand and violence against your brother or your sister. You understand? And what you call in the Bible, the original one came from out the ancient cuneiform tablets. The Hereafter, the Numer Elish, the Gilgamesh epics, the tablets of Etna, and they've been corrupted. They've added things in it over time through mid-translations. You know, like thou shalt not suffer a witch to live in the Holy Bible. That was added by King James as a defense against political adversaries. So anybody that didn't agree with him politically, he had preachers go out and pronounce them a witch, whether they were a man or a woman, and they gave them what they call a water test back then. They would tie their left wrist to their right ankle and their left ankle to their left wrist, and then roll them out into the middle of the lake and cast them overboard. Now, if they floated, listen, let me do this. Now, if they floated, they would put them back on the boat and roll them back in and burn them at the stake, because they were declared a witch if they floated. But if they didn't float, you didn't have to worry about it. You had not what kills you lose, right? So they enacted many things like that and added, inserted, and took out a lot of things. Like you in your modern times right now, you see they used to say in the Bible, use the word black a lot, but they changed that to swarthy, right? To swarthy. They're changing all these things in the book the more you wake up. And the reason why these devils didn't think to take a lot of these things out of the Bible, because at the time that they met you, you were in Africa. Maybe 500 years ago, many of you, some of you were indigenous to the Americas. Most of you were. But when they came there to Africa, you didn't know what white people were. You didn't believe in no white Jesus or no white God, and you didn't speak English, and you sure didn't have no Holy Bible. They beat that into you during the Middle Passage coming across that ocean. Do you understand that? That book was non-existent, and that religion was not even a thought. The purpose, that's not what you believe, not what you think, and that's not what's inside of your ancestry. That's an alien religion that they use to manipulate and control you. You follow me? They would take the smartest of you. Well, listen, man. Let me. I love you. Let me do this. Right? I know you're trying to be helpful, but just be still. All right. Now they would take the wisest amongst you all from the learning centers like Timbuktu, and the libraries of Alexandria, and take you to very special plantations in the Americas. And on those plantations, the smart ones, they would have them out in the fields, but they would have a straw boss or a house nigger, that would be a mulatto, that was a child resulting from the rape of the slave master to an African woman, pure blood, and sent him out to give the orders from the white man. And what it was is when you saw him approaching, he looked alien to you, but you could see your image binding on him, so you would listen to him more, you would have more faith in him as the leader. And right now, today, it's true, because in your political systems, they have all of your leaders as Adam Clayton Powell, Barack Obama. In other words, you can see them, they got light skin or wavy hair or green eyes or something. You can see the white man in there like the movie The Fly. Help me, help me. You can see that blinded, they don't never have them jet black. That don't be your leaders. Even Jesse Jackson, he's a melanated man, but he got that white man hair. You understand what I'm saying? They gonna keep that image of the beast in there, because they know that you follow, you see your own image and likeness in there, right? That's clever. But that was the spell that they casted on you. You follow me? On these places that they had these sales, and I'm gonna tell you what you can do. Google settlements called Salem in the United States of America. Write it down. Look up Salem, and it's gonna blow your mind to see that. You got so many settlements called Salem in the United States, especially up and down the eastern seaboard. It'll blow your mind. Salem. Everybody thought it was Salem, Massachusetts. It was the only place they had the witch trials and the only place they had the spell. But Salem was all over the place, because they was casting spells on you niggas like wiffle waffles, like pancakes, left and right. You follow me? So today is that day. Because you see, there was a time in which you describe as the heavens, when the Most High gathered all of my ribs of angels, Seraphat, Jerobat, and they weren't evil, they were disagreeable. It's the difference. The thrones, all these different types of angels, and when he gathered them, he made an announcement. He said, today I have created for you a man. You hear me? Of sounding clay of black mud, fashioned into shape. When I made complete his form, his black body, and then, listen carefully, blown into his nostrils of my breath from out the Creator, in essence the Creator, blown into his nostrils of his breath, his ruach, wind, his soul, and that spirit he blew in was the angel Gabriel, a spiritual entity. He blew that breath into the man. That was Gabriel, the father of Jesus. He said, when I made complete his form and blown to his nostrils of my breath, then you will all fall down and prostrate or pray to that man. And all the angels obeyed him and fell down, prostrated, and prayed to that man, except Iblis. He was refused. He refused and was proud and haughty. And later the Creator asked him, said, why didn't you bow down with the others when I commanded you? And he said, because I am better than he is. I'm better than him. You created me before him over smokeless fire, which is a lie. He created his form, but that spirit was always there. You created me before him of a smokeless fire. You created a black, long, sounding face, so he totally disregarded what the Creator blew into his temple. He said, I am better than he is. And the Creator said, surely I know best what I created. Get down out of it, hated and cursed as apes and swine until the day of resurrection. Just as a resurrection. Until the time made known. And the devil snapped to himself a little bit and contemplated whining, like the bitch he is. Well, I've always obeyed you in everything. I've never disobeyed you. Because I've obeyed you all the time. Please respite me until the day that they are raised, which is right now, and it's happening right now. Right here. The only group of people on the planet that's moving stars and doing the things that we do. The real 144,000, everybody else is perpetrating. They just procrastinating. They're lying. Stop being stupid. And he said, okay, I grant you respite until the appointed time, till the time made known, the 6,000 years. And the devil flippantly said, on his way down, he talked to the other angels and convinced the third of them to follow him in the first fall. There were two. He said, certainly, he came down there and he said, certainly I will lie in their straight path. And I'll come at them from their left, their right, above, beneath them, before them, and behind them. And you won't find most of them thankful. Except those of the purified ones. Against them I have no authority. You know. And this is the other time, the 6,000 years. That time is right now, and his time is up. And he's frantic in the earth, and you can see the imminent demise of the devil. The ball is falling. They lie to themselves and one another, but you can tell that the weather, everything is changing. Some of the signs, even biblically, are telling you that you won't be able to tell the weather, or one day from the next, brother against brother, daughter against daughter, father against son. There'll be earthquakes in diverse places, wars and rumors of wars, and plagues, earthquakes in diverse places. There'll be earthquakes and plagues. Now, all these signs are put before you. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. It was that way before Noah's flood. He warned y'all, but you laughed at Noah. You laugh until you start drinking all that water, and then you shut up. You float and you die. And this will strike through you out. This is the third and final conflict, the last battle. And if you don't pass this, will swallow your fake, false pride and get the help of the Messiah and 144,000, wake up the rest of the people that's going to make it into heaven, then you know what you did. You just condemned yourself to the pit and hell forever. And in Islam, Jahannam is described as having 4 legs. It's a giant thing. It stands on 4 legs with 19 heads. Its valley is deep. Its heat is hot. And its fuel is men and stones. That's hot as lava, right? And many snakes reside in Jahannam. And when the guilty are gathered there after judgment around the river, they look down into that fire, which is stoked up by the Most High, to where the embers are red. And they eventually shift them to black fire. Now, nigga, you don't want that. It's the fire kindled by the Most High that rises above the heart. It'll scorch the mortal, I'm telling you. And when they look down and they start crying blood, you hear their brown skin with that red blood coming down, you can see it. And they get to crying, and the warden over hell, his name is Malik. He'll walk up to him, the king of hell, and he'll tell him, say, oh, how excellent is this weeping. Had it been in the world and life prior to this, out of fear of the Most High, you would not be here today on the edges of it and kick them down in that goddamn fire. And that's it right there. You want to be heartless? You ain't got no mercy in them? Well, you going to a place where there is no mercy, nigga. None. None at all. And energy always returns to the source of energy. You put out good energy, it's coming back. You put out evil energy, maybe not the same day or the same way, but you can count on it. It's coming back, partner.
Excuse me, Messiah. This Kim.
Say it again.
I said, this Kim. I have a little sister here. Want to ask you a couple questions.
All right, but she got to be a lot clearer than you sound. Tell her to speak up and be clear, please. Yes, hello?
I mean, hey. How you doing, Messiah?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing my job.
So I had
I just wish everybody else was doing theirs. Go ahead.
Yes. So I did have a question. I have a couple questions. So one of them is what was the flood? What was the flood about when they say about the first world? And then this time when they say this one will go down in fire. Yeah.
The flood, what the flood about? The flood was to purge the earth. The flood was to purge the earth from evil. These fallen angels had built up cities and civilizations, and they were raping and robbing and doing everything unholy in the sight of the Most High. Genetic manipulations where they had people mixed up with animals and all kind of horrible things. And it rose up and it stunk in the nostrils of God, and it regretted him to his heart that he had created man on earth. And he promised them, he sent his messenger Noah to tell them that if they didn't straighten up, he was going to create a flood and destroy them all. And they laughed at him when he asked them to help him build the ark. He asked them to help him. They wouldn't help him, they laughed at him. Because these are evil, degenerate people. And the flood came. And that water didn't just come from the sky, it rose up from out the earth. You know what I mean? And Melchizedek and myself, we were there before and after the flood. That's right. And you all were there too. Because these people you're talking about, these good and bad angels and all that, that's you. That's you all right here with me tonight. And if you're a Christian, you remember there was a picture of Jesus dropping down into the pit of hell, into the bowels of hell. He had one foot and leg pointed down, and the other one arched up at the knee. And he was dressed in white, and he was dropping down in a pit. Do you remember that picture? That was me. That was me dropping down into hell to pull y'all back up out the pit. That was me. I volunteered to do that while the elders laughed. And I get down there and help y'all, ask y'all to help me to help you. And what do? You act like you did in heaven. You rebel again, and you've proven that you can't be reformed. That the only thing for you is hell. The place you deserve, the only place that you deserve to be. And there's a separation right now in the world. You got the people that are being left behind. But for some of you, there'll be a new heaven and a new earth. For the former things will have passed away. And there'll be no more hunger, no more thirst, no more crying, no more pain, no more death. No more death. For the former things will have passed away. I'm inviting you all to that splendorous place right now, the great new wonderful. Take my hand and walk with me. Now, a lot of people say, what kind of world where you ain't got no hunger, no pain, no death, this, that, and the other? Well, go back and revisit when you were standing in the kitchen trying to decide between a pig foot and a salad. Arguing with yourself. Well, the higher you, the spirit you that he blew into your nostrils, that's the aspect of God that belongs to the Most High. That's part of your nature. Because you have an inner being, an inner vision, an inner hearing, and an inner heart. You can look at the room around you not with two physical eyes, but you can't see past the walls. But if you close your eyes and use your mind's eye, your all-seeing eye, you can see your car parked outside. You best sit on the playground in the third grade, and it's not just memory. I repeat these things so that you can be like a cat. Learn how to record and pass it on. You've all had dreams where you saw something happen, and 2 weeks later you were in the world with one of your friends, and something happened. You told them, look, I saw this in my dream 2 weeks ago. You remember that. My question is, how do you remember the future? Only God can see through walls and back and forth through time. That's the aspect of your nature. God is in there, and you devils are dragging God through all this bullshit. Yeah, you're going to hell. You're dragging the Most High through inside that temple. It's not a building down the street. It's the place on the side of your head next to your ears. And your eyes are windows to the soul. You have an inner heart. You got that muscle, the valve that pumps blood. But you have a spiritual heart. So if your child call you on the phone 1,000 miles away and disrespect you, they can break your heart, your spiritual heart. You have an inner ear. You simply be home cleaning up your house by yourself. You get a phone call from your man 100 miles away. Well, before you get the phone call, while you cleaning up, you hear somebody call your name, Dolores, and you answer, yeah. And you forget, I'm the only one here. I'm the only one here. Then maybe the phone might ring and it's him. And you say, I just heard you call my name. He said, yeah, I was thinking about you. There's somebody else inside of you. Somebody else in there. That's God. You understand what I'm saying? Now you got to decide whether you're going to make that journey within and turn yourself inside out and your perspective of who and what you are, or you're going to remain carnal like the beast and physical and step on the necks of your brothers and sisters for worldly gain. Now, the advantage in turning yourself into a spiritual being is that you don't have to be physically dead to do that. You can be an avatar called Ilamutazadad, divine incarnated in flesh, like Jesus was in the wilderness. Right? When he passed all the tests of being tempted by the devil and beautiful women and money and this, that, and the kingdom of the world. And when he transformed himself into a divine incarnated to a spiritual being, he walked on to the Sea of Galilee. And his disciples were out in the boat in the middle of the lake. Hey, quieted down there. And then his favorite disciple at that time was Simon Peter. And he said unto the Master, bid ye me to come out unto the waves. And Jesus smiled at him while he was walking on the water and said, okay, Simon Peter, I bid ye to come out unto the waves. Simon Peter jumped up out that boat and started walking towards Jesus without even thinking. You understand? And when he got almost close to him, the wind was high that day. The sea was kind of choppy. You had that white water. And Simon Peter cast his glance to the side and for an instant began to doubt. As soon as he started doubting in his mind, he started thinking. But he was close enough with Jesus, grabbed his hand and pulled him up and said, oh, you have so little faith. And pulled him up. The point is Simon Peter walked on the water. So know that when you're in the new heaven and the new earth as a spiritual being, whether you're in the flesh or not, you're a spiritual entity. And you got to ask yourself, when does your spirit get sleepy? While you sleep all night and you're seeing things in your dreams and traveling, and don't get sleepy. When does your spirit get cold or hot? When does it get a disease? Can it get cold, bad, or AIDS? When does your spirit get hungry? Your spirit don't get. When does your spirit die? Do you understand? So what happens is, if you gravitate, come out of her. Speaking about the world, come out of her, my people. Be ye not because of her sins and incur her judgments. Come out of her. Come out of the world. Come out of the world of fleshly things. Know that you're a spiritual being having a physical experience. Now, you can give everything to that flesh if you want to, but you know what's waiting for you at the end of the line. If you believe that, as a man thinketh, so is he. There'll be death waiting for you at the end of the line. Mute the phone. There'll be death waiting for you at the end of the line. And when you get bombed or cremated or whatever, and they throw you in that hole, everybody that you were showing off for, the people you were doing it, I was doing it for my children, I was doing it for my wife, I was doing it for my man, you was being a devil for them. You got out here in the world, was walking the earth, and you broke all the rules. You said fine on you to the Creator. You did. And you don't want to repent right now. I'm here. I can forgive you. You don't want to come to me? You stiff-necked still? Well, I'll tell you something about a tree that won't bow in the wind. It's gonna break. It's gonna break just like your neck, nigga. It's gonna break. Even the mighty trees, when you see them bowing in the wind, they prostrating to the Most High. They bowing down to the Most High when you see them going up and down the bar of them trees in the wind. When you see your shadow cast from left to right, that's you involuntarily bowing down to the Most High. constantly. Or you gonna bow. Every knee will bow. Only thing relevant is whether you're gonna do it on your own. If you do it on your own, you go to heaven or back to heaven. And if you don't, you know what you got. You don't even know what you got coming, because I've seen some of the gates in hell, and partner, I'm telling you, you don't want to be there. I heard a dumb bitch called Marquis Love tell me, when I get y'all, I can take it. I said to myself, oh, you done lost your fucking, you done lost your mind. The coolest fire in hell in the first gate is 70 times hotter than the fire on the sun. And every gate you drop down gets 140 times hotter than the one before it. The mass starts getting out of control. And fast as one skin is burnt off, they replace it with another one. You can't take that. And all the hell gets hotter every day than it was the day before. And this ain't no end to this. It's a bottomless pit. Once you start falling down that bad boy, you don't ever stop dropping. You'll never start getting lower or hotter. More and more pain, more and more hell. Right? And where's this devil at that you was doing this for? He's gonna be in judgment right next to you. And when you do the devil maybe do the devil gonna say you a goddamn lie. I merely called you, nigga, and you came. So for you is your punishment, for me is mine. And the critic gonna say they both get double. Little did they know. Now slink ye into the pit and speak not unto me. That's the judgment.
So
short and sweet.
What exactly is the hereafter? What that mean, the hereafter?
Because there's no such thing as place and time. Everything's in the same place at the same time, vibrating on different frequencies. Today you say it's Sunday, and then you got tomorrow is Monday. But when you wake up tomorrow, will you call it today? Will you call it tomorrow?
No, we call it today.
Every time you wake up, it's still today. There's no time. And there's no such thing as here or there or where. Phonetically, if you take the T off there, what does it spell?
Here.
And where, take off the W.
Here.
And if you supposedly died, Terry, where do you go to the whereafter?
Hereafter, they say, right?
That's right, the hereafter. And you're there in the hereafter right now without death. Death is an illusion, I told you, made up by the Paradise Sons to manipulate and control you psychologically through fear. Do you understand?
That's right.
And as I wake you all up, those of you that are sincere about this journey and want to wake up and are worthy of paradise again, you start understanding that you are all one. And the devils are frantic and they're getting confused now. They're very confused. The devils are confused because they hear the truth coming through me and they know it's real. But their senses still revolt because they're rebellious creatures. They're assholes by nature. Got it? They just got that ugly streak in them. And they recalcitrant. They rebel against truth. They revolt against it. All right, who's got that first question? Or that next question? Go ahead.
Well, Messiah, this sister had another question.
Okay, just speak up loud and clear, sister.
So what do they mean when they say God is not a man that he shall lie, or when they say God is not mocked?
He's not a man. I heard that. And he's not what?
When in the scriptures they say that God is not a man that he shall lie. He opened doors that no man can close. He closed doors no man can open. And what also does
all right. God is not a man because by description, the same scriptures tell you that one of the primary attributes of God is he's omnipresent, right? What does omnipresent mean, sister? It means he's present everywhere at all times. When you were a child, the first question you asked about God is, where is he? And your parents say, baby, God is everywhere. Didn't they tell you that?
Say that again.
So my question is to you, because the one asking the question knows better than the one being asked. If God is everywhere, how can you condense him down into one man, let alone a white one? When you look at everywhere, let me ask you, that's all right. What color is everywhere, sister?
You say what,
Before you said, let there be light. Before you said, let there be light, the only reality is blackness. So if you got something white, it's cursed and damned, and it went against the ordinance of the Most High. Like Miriam and her brother Aaron against his God, Moses. You follow me? So he can't be restricted into a man. And that's what's inside of you. Because all is what's inside of you, and that's what you are at your core and essence of being, like all. See, what you call the devil is part of all. And it's incredible that they can revolt against that divine love. What they do, they try to blind and block 3 monkeys. Hear and see no evil while they do it. You can see the devil's story in the Holy Bible in Romans chapter 7. Romans chapter 7. In part, the devil will say to you that the good which I should, I do not. But the evil which I would not, now that I do. But I find that there is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. Because I know that is in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. So that the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, now that I do. But I myself worship Jesus after the inner man, with the flesh, I serve the law of the body. So who will deliver me from the body of this death? Right? No, God is not a man. He's much more than a man. But he's you. He's inside of you. All is in you. You got a one-seeing eye, or all-seeing eye. And you can see all with that. Through the walls, through the darkness, through past and present, future. You see things in your dreams, what you call dreams, that you see people you never met before. It's the all-seeing eye, the all-hearing ear, the all-feeling heart. All. He blew his breath into your nostrils, and thus you became a living soul by the bind of the spirit to the mud. That's right. God is inside of all of us. That makes us all gods. Potentially. But the devil wants the power of God, but not the guidance and rules of God. You follow me? They want to be autonomous and do whatever they want to people. And they say fie on the Most High, and then they claim that they're in heaven because they got money and material things. But they know that they burn in their heart for the evil that they do. They know they suffer, and they got great fear, and they got reason for fear. Because they know the Creator is real. And they know I'm back, and they know I'm black. And if you stay here long enough tonight, sister, you're going to be moving stars yourself. How many of you all have been moving stars with me? Let me hear it.
I have.
All right.
I have. This is
all right. Now, sister, if you think all these people making that up, just stay here to 10:30, and I swear for the living Creator that you'll be moving stars tonight. And then you can ask yourself, who is that man? But I think you already know. That's right. And if you're here with me and you're not walking with me, you're not trying to help this mission, you're not trying to help me to help you, then you're making a decision to be cut off and left behind. And you will experience one of those hells. You can do that with a frown or a smile. You know, some people try to be friendly while they be in the devil. But the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I intended to help. I intended to be bright. But what, the world has you too preoccupied, right? Paying your bills and worrying about your children and your man and your woman. You was worried about your finances. You was worried about the world, and you didn't have time to commit to the Most High. But you want him to commit to you for eternity in paradise. I think you better go head on with that. This ain't no part-time gig. And I'm the last elder. There's a train leaving here tomorrow. Now I'm telling you, this is real. When you get in that grave, everybody you thought loved you and you showed off for, you ain't gonna hear nothing but footsteps walking away from you. Even your damn dog will lay on your grave longer than these people. And I hate to tell you painfully, but only thing they gonna be arguing about all the way home is who gonna get what of what you left behind. You think you're doing that for them? No, you're not. You're doing that because you're a devil in an asshole, a reptoid. And you get what you earn. And what you earning is the house of pain. So I'm telling you, submit. Make amendments. Beg for forgiveness like I did. Beg for it. And maybe you'll receive it. And then, when and if you do, don't ever return to it like a dog to his own vomit. Don't ever return to it again. Who else got a question? What's that next question?
I have a question.
I'll do my best.
I'm just trying to understand, like, the hereafter, like, the difference in the hereafter it had was like 10 years ago, like the signs, or what's different now to make this the hereafter.
Some people say around 2012 or 2013 we had a dimensional shift. That's when it happened. You ever heard of the Mandela effect?
Yes, I have.
Well, I suggest to all of you here, do some research on YouTube about the Mandela effect. And you find out that's when time lost its parameters and reality lost its meaning. I'll tell you something that you all noticed since 2012, 2013. When you go out and get food from fast restaurant, it don't taste the same. It tastes like cardboard or something. Tell the truth. Tell the truth now. Your stuff don't taste like everything is artificial. Even the food you cook at home is not the same. Eggs nothing don't taste the same. It ain't real.
That's right.
All right.
That's right. It ain't right. The weather's not the same. This could be the hottest summer ever experienced on Earth and recorded by Noah in recorded history. This summer gonna be the hottest. Remember what I told you? Prophecy of Hereafter, Amun Rayay, Asha. I also suggest you all listen to a DVD created by one of my disciples that I just placed on the seat after many years. Amun. He just made a DVD and I put it on your emails today. Titled About the Holy Tablets. Rahul back at that. Tell them something about the piece you created.
Yeah, the piece I made is basically an expose on Nubian extraterrestrials and their profound impact and presence within our current reality and popular culture. There's been a lot of TV shows and movies coming out lately that display the truth about us as Nubians being descendants of these supreme beings and how they are returning. So in the piece, it has a lot of these shows that are on Netflix. For instance, one called The Three-Body Problem, where they're talking about these beings coming from a tri-solar system. And we all know that the first place most of us heard about beings coming from a tri-solar system was the Holy Tablets, or teachings by the Nuwapians. Yeah, about risk. And move. And
so let me say this:
like,
let's make them watch the DVD. Don't explain it all. Make them watch it. They got the email. Y'all go and do yourself a blessing and a favor, and look at that video created by one of my disciples, and know that all of you have the creative forces and potential in you, and get to work. You should be embarrassed by that. Embarrassed. Why aren't you doing your part? Why aren't you? This brother donates all the time. He hasn't stopped donating. He hasn't stopped posting up posts and creating and editing classes and doing his job. What's the matter with you? It's time to drop your nets and become fishers of men. Stop being devils like you're going to be in heaven. Stop lying to yourself. You know what you're earning. And as far as people with these religious beliefs, there's a time and a place for everything. When Elijah Muhammad was here, he was sent the third time incarnation of Elijah, the testament that brought the fire down on the sacrifice. And when he ascended, he went up into a fiery chariot that split in two with John the Baptist. It was him that baptized Jesus in the Jordan. And the third time he incarnated was in Sandersville, Georgia, as Elijah Poole, or Elijah Muhammad. He had a mission when you all were at a level of consciousness, when there were pimps and hoes. Y'all was on alcohol and heroin and needles and eating pork. He came in to clean y'all up and get you up out the gutter and give you some self-respect. Dress you up and make you high-tech. Wash your ass and your mind. He succeeded at his mission. And just before his mission ended, he said, now I want all of y'all to go to the man with the letter Lamb, making reference to Dr. Malachi Z. York. The Lamb numerical value is 30. I am the Lamb. There's two lambs in the scripture. I'm the Lamb. Behold, I looked at Mount Zion, and there stood a Lamb, and with him 144,000. with their father's name written in their foreheads, indicative of the fact that their third eye is now opened. That's what's happening with y'all, because certainly you were heedless of it, but today we'll remove from you your veil and your sight is sharp. You were once blind, but now you see. That's right. But there's none so blind as he or she who refuses to see. But like my daddy used to say, if you can't hear thunder, I bet you can feel lightning. You hear me? Big timbers falling, it won't be long before dawn. I don't have nothing to comfort you but your lies, because asbestos not going to help. Don't tell me that you think he's... Now, see, when he told them to go to Malachi, most of them, a lot of them stayed with Elijah because they loved him. They thought he was the divinity. In other words, the Most High is so great that when he sends somebody, they so magnificent, you think they are the source. And they didn't go to Malachi, so they left behind in the land that time forgot. You see old men in some of your major cities hopping across the street with a split in their shoe where they toe at because they corn hurting, with them old greasy suits and old worn out bow tie, gray hair, and hobbling around with that Bilal speech paper and an old stale sweet potato pie, and you shake your head. So they left behind. These messengers come in succession, like a baton race, and they pass it off one to another. Malachi told y'all 1,000 ways and 1,000,000 days and ways that it's Amun's time to rule. Stop acting a fool. Star movers, I am that Amun. I might not be what you expected or what you want, but damn it, it's me. And there is no way to the Father except through the Son. Keep clowning yourself and wake up on the wrong side of the ignorant pole in the house of pain. Keep clowning yourself, or throw your back, mind, spirit, and soul into this mission and guarantee you a seat in eternal paradise. You think about it. Or keep playing your worldly games until the grave claims you. And see what it's worth. You find out it ain't worth the wing of a dead gnat. It ain't worth the weight of a wafer. Everything that you trying to love and invest in is worthless. Because thieves will steal it, morals will eat it up thereby, time will consume it. You can't take it with you. I'm telling you.
Messiah, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but I was trying to tell my friend she knew some knowledge, but she not new, she know little things. I'm telling her the only way out is through you. What you just said.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
That's the truth.
That is the truth. Whether people want to say, she don't know enough about me to. I don't blame her because she don't know enough about me yet. But if she stay here right now, let me ask you: it's time to go outside and move these stars, class. And I'm telling you, all you people that be quiet and hang in the background, don't say nothing. You are those demons we talking about. That's you. You trying to steal a hearing at the door like a poly, a coiled up snake. But you don't want the responsibility of helping the mission succeed. You want to steal a hearing. You want the jewels, but you don't want to pay for them. Now, Timothy, where you at right now? Can you see the stars in the sky?
Yeah.
Kim.
I'm here, Messiah.
Can you see the stars? Take her out where you can see the stars. Or the moon.
Okay, this one right here. I see one right here. Look, right there.
She can see it? Put her on the phone.
Here, get the phone.
Come on now.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what is your name, sister? What is your name, sister?
My name is Shaquille. Shaquille.
Shaquille. Oh,
Yes.
Shaquille. Everybody welcome Shaquille home. Welcome home, Shaquille.
Right back. Hi.
Welcome home, Shaquille. Hey,
We
here.
love you. Okay. Now you see that star, Shaquille?
Go ahead.
Can you see that star, Shaquille? Sister, can you see that star? Why is it taking you so long to answer?
She being difficult right now. I'm trying to wake her up.
Tell her to look at the star, man.
Look at the star. Look at the star. Here, here's the phone. Here. Look at what he's saying.
Tell her I'm gonna move that star to the left.
She said she sees stars moving. Tell her about the time you seen stars moving. Why are you crying? Tell her about the time you seen stars moving. That's the Messiah. He's the real deal. She sees stars moving, Messiah. I'm trying to wake her up.
Tell her I'm moving in a circle. Clockwise.
That's fine. Talk to the Messiah, please.
She's crying because it's new to her. You gotta understand, we all felt that way. But those of you that believe and then turn again in disbelief, then increase in disbelief, and there is no saving in you. You can be and say whatever you want. You search and scour the world. You will never find nobody else to do the things that I do. So stop lying about you don't believe it's me. Just say that you're rejecting the Most High, because when you see me, you see the Father. You're rejecting the truth. That's what you're doing.
That's the Messiah, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. That's the real deal.
All right. Kim, you move something. What you gonna move?
Messiah.
What are you gonna
I see
move?
a star. I'm gonna move the star.
What are you gonna do with it? Point to it.
Clockwise.
So she can see you do it. Which way you gonna move
Move
it?
the star right here. He's still crying. Move the star right here. And the name
Which
of
way you gonna move it?
Move it clockwise. In the name of the Messiah, the one only true Messiah, start move clockwise. Let's move clockwise. In the name of the Messiah, the one only true Messiah, start, go up.
Go up.
And it's going up.
Moving up.
Messiah, the one only true Messiah, start, drop down.
Drop it down.
And drop it down.
Dropping down.
All right. That should be enough for her to know. Now, next person. Somebody in London, England. What can you see? I love you more. You know I love you.
I can see a star.
All right. And where are you located, sister?
Cheryl, London.
Okay, Cheryl. I hear you. I love you. Okay, what are you going to do with that star, Cheryl?
Nice bright star. In the name of Amun, move up.
Oh boy.
Moving up.
It wobbled a little bit, but it's going up.
Yeah. You're right.
It wobbled to the left. I saw it.
Yeah, drop down. Moving down.
Dropping down.
Moving down. Now, in the name of Amun, move in a clockwise circle. Moving clockwise. Moving in clockwise. Yeah, moving clockwise. Moving clockwise. Thank you for coming out.
I love you.
I'll go next with Nukas.
Okay. What are you going to move with, Nukas?
I see a star as well. In the name of Amun, move up.
And it's moving up.
It's moving up. In the name of Amun, drop down. Oh, it dropped down fast. In the name of Amun, go to the right.
It's going to the right.
Going to the right. Move right. In the name of Amun, go back to the left. Going back to the left. Moving left. In the name of Amun, make a clockwise circle.
And it's going clockwise.
All right. I love you. All right. Now, what you going to do for us in Texas?
I see a star.
And you watch out for them tornadoes.
Yes, absolutely.
What you going to move? You see a moon or a star? What you going to move?
It's a
okay,
star.
I see it.
In the name of Amun, run in a clockwise circle. And there it goes.
Oh,
it's
boy.
going clockwise.
Moving clockwise.
Now, in the name of Amun, come closer.
Speak louder. Okay, come closer.
And it's coming closer. Come closer. It's coming closer. Tawahat family, Tawahat Messiah, I love you.
I love you. Keep our moon. Keep our moon in Tennessee. What do you see? Katat, out on that ocean. Katat, go ahead.
Maror.
All right, Maror, what you gonna do? The whole creation?
Yes, I want to move the whole creation.
Which way?
I want to move the whole creation up in the name of the Messiah, Amun Rayay. Go up.
Moving up.
Going up. Go over to the right in the name of the Messiah, Amun Rayay.
It's moving right.
Moving right.
Go back to the left in the name of Amun Rayay. In the creation. And go up to the path. Stop. And go clockwise circle. Clockwise circle. In the name of the Messiah, Amun Rayay. All creation.
It's going clockwise.
Going clockwise.
One more time. Come to.
All right, I love you. I love you. I love you, son. All right. Now, Cat, out on the ocean, on that, what do you see out there on that ocean?
I'm not on the phone right now. I'm on the computer. I can't go outside.
Okay, I'll follow you. Okay. Pata, in Washington, D.C., what do you see? Sarah Presley in California. Amdad, what do you see?
Star.
All right. I know you all know it's real, and you know it's really me. You need to act in accordance. Send your donations in. We have trouble struggling trying to keep the truth going out because they're doing everything in their reptilian power to block it. Are you with the devil or are you with us? Make up your mind. Because I tell you, you don't want the devil's seat. You just think you do. When you get there and you cut off all alone and nothing but pain on all sides, you'll regret for an eternity. Don't do it. I love you. I came here for you. Don't create lies in your mind. Come home before it's too late. Write your testimonies and post these posts up all over the world. Do your due diligence. Save yourself and your brothers and your sisters because you are your brothers and your sisters. And you all got to learn to purge yourself of this hatred and resentment and revenge and jealousy and all these things. And your love of the world, you got to purge yourself from these things. The love of money and drugs and food and different things. You got to wake up and break the ties. These are the ties that bind. They bind you. And if they bind you, you can't raise up and ascend from the old earth and the old heavens. By the old heavens, those of you that remember, when we used to look at the sky at night, it used to be so full of stars, it was amazing to see. But now, when you look up at the night sky, you can almost count all the stars on one hand. What happened to all the stars? Why is Orion so much bigger? Because you're getting closer to Uranus, to heaven. In my father's house, there are many mansions. Uranus is heaven. Orion. It's bigger because you're getting closer. I love you all. Stay close for your own soul's sake. You're drifting way too far out there. We are one divine love. Nite Authority, Amun Rayay, Asha, servants of 144,000. Peace.